Dude.
We're back.
I can't believe we made it.
We're back.
You want to know something funny?
Triumphant return.
I'll find it later. This almost didn't happen.
Really?
Yeah. So I get a text. My wife's not feeling well today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And normally, I mean, she's a soldier. Like, she'll just tank it and be like, whatever. But today, she said, I was like, do you need anything? And she was like, I may need you to come get me today. And I was like...
Can't, we're recording. Just kidding.
No, I definitely didn't say that.
Yeah.
But I was like,
well,
wow.
that's exactly what happened to me last time.
Yeah,
like we sat down to record, and then I had to go get a sick kid.
I know. I was like
sick family member.
I was like, he's not gonna believe it.
I would though. Is she better, or I guess
she's okay.
She's just trooping it.
Yeah, she's just trooping it.
Okay. Well, I hope she feels better. I hope she feels better.
But yeah, man. So I mean.
We're doing it.
Well, I was just gonna say, what a week.
Yeah,
you know,
triumphant
I'm glad
return.
We're on the new week.
This may be a 4-minute episode.
So
if one
instead
of us gets
of talking
a call.
about, because we talked about plenty of it Friday.
Yeah. For the
how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Just for peering behind the curtain, we had to record the episode that published today, literally 3 days ago. So
yeah,
we did that virtual recording on a Friday night because we're cool, and that's what we do on a Friday night. You know? But no, my weekend was good. There are few like household chores more satisfying than power washing.
True.
And that's what I did yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, I got out. Our house has like an extended patio on the back, so it's got like the construction built like 10 by 10 patio, but
here's
then
pictures for reference.
But here's my address. Yeah. Yeah. And if you need a key, let me know. But the patio got extended, so it's like a 10 by 10, and then it went out sideways like 15, 20 more feet, something like that. So great big patio, but I don't think it's been power washed like ever. So it just had a lot of buildup on it, and I got out there and I only got like 2/3 of it done in a couple hours. Like it took a while, but it's one of those like satisfying things, like a very stark before and after.
Yeah.
And also just kind of satisfying as you're going, But so I mean, it was a good weekend. There were some good football games on.
Some craziness.
Yeah, a lot of craziness.
But that's the fun.
Hey,
I didn't watch anything this weekend.
Really? That's okay.
Well, let me rephrase. When it was happening, I didn't watch it. I had to go back and watch a lot because it wasn't busy, but it was kind of busy, more of just distracted. I was distracted all weekend.
Yeah. Which
was fine. It's just today I woke up this morning and was just like, it was one of those like, oh. But.
Like it's Monday.
But today is the start of something awesome.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a word that was like anti-beautiful because I was going to lean into the spooky theme, but I couldn't think of a word.
It's horrific.
This is going to be horrific, and as you can tell with my attire, I'm trending of the theme of scary-looking things.
Yeah, no, you look spooky.
Yeah.
You want?
This is just what was in the backpack.
For the audio listeners, Patrick's wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
That's not true. What I'm actually wearing is bloody rags. I have big scars.
It's all like summer beach colors.
This was just what was in the backpack.
Is that?
If I'm being honest.
Okay. I think those are palm trees.
Yeah, it's a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. No, I mean.
But here we are, and we're talking about ghosts today.
Yeah. So this is
spooky stuff.
This is the first day of the first annual Spooktober Spooktacular. Good dumb fun.
Love it.
And we talked about this a little bit on the last episode that we did virtually about AI. Patrick is a big-time Halloween fan, big-time spooky season fan. We thought this would be just a fun, like, month-long kind of theme that we could just, not only have some good, dumb, fun conversation, but also get into some, like, stuff Patrick's interested in. I love a good conversation about this kind of stuff because I'm always like, what's going on?
I was going to say, this is a focal point of, like, in my opinion, you correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like conversations like this was a pivotal point in our developing friendship.
Yeah.
Because when talking about this stuff, like when you talk with anybody about paranormal stuff or supernatural stuff or stuff you can't explain, you're either met with excitement and curiosity or, like, very reserved skepticism, and like it's a very people are nervous to talk about it. Would you say that's fair? That people are,
well, I think nobody wants to come off like a lunatic.
Yeah. But, no, absolutely.
And I think some people do.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I think it's just fun. Like I probably fall in more of the like excitement and curiosity category.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Because I'm like, it's just fun to talk about.
Yeah.
I like the comedian Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
And he has a great quote when like getting to know people. He said he was using the moon landing as an example. He said, I would rather, like if I'm choosing who I'm going to talk to, he's like, do I want to talk to the guy who thinks the moon landing was 100% real, or do I want to talk to the guy who's not even sure that the moon exists? And it's like, he's like, I'm going to pick that guy every time. He's like, I want to talk to that guy. I want to ask him a lot of questions. I want to like hear like, why do you think this way? Like, he's like, it's just a lot more fun that way. And I'm 100% in agreement with that. Cause I'm like, I don't know. How long do you think we were working together before we started talking about stuff like this? Cause I feel like one day, something, I don't remember what was going on. It might have been October. Like it might have just been a seasonal thing.
That's what I think. I think as we were creeping up, maybe it was like August or September, because when I started with you guys, it was March.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but also it's one of those things where you really like have to test the waters with people.
Yeah.
Like you don't just
dive in.
If you don't believe in the moon, you don't come out and say, I don't believe in the moon.
Yeah.
You go, how do you feel about space?
Yeah.
You let the person talk, and then you kind of form, you feel it out.
It's kind of weird how it looks like a dome, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it weird that,
Man, those spaceships just keep hitting something. Doesn't it seem like that?
Isn't it interesting how there's lights that move in the sky? That's weird.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Earth's flat.
Yeah. No. Okay, so you make a good point. Yeah, you do have to ease into it, and I feel like one day we just like hit a breaking point where one of us was just like, there was a moment of silence, and then we're just like, have you ever seen anything weird in the woods?
And I think, and I don't remember because it's been so long.
I don't either.
I'm pretty sure that it was me who was pressing you on it, because that's kind of my hallmark.
Yeah.
After knowing somebody for a while, because what happens is, and we'll talk about it later. I'm not going to tell it. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I should tell my story now or wait till we talk.
No, hold on to it.
Hold on to it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can use that as bait because we'll get into this in a second.
I have a story, and I like telling the story.
Yeah, it's a good story. Tune in this month. I think
when we, I don't remember what the broaching topic was that got us into it, but there was probably something where
we'll get
like
into
you
it.
Said. Yeah.
It's either going to come up naturally in one of these conversations, or we'll just save it for the Halloween episode, like the finale. We'll just see how it goes. But that is a good quick segue. We want to hear from you. Yes. So you've seen our social media posts. If not, find us at Good Dumb Fun. We want you to either send us a SpeakPipe, write us an email, or DM us on social media if you have ever seen something you cannot explain, regardless of what you believe it was, or if you're just not sure and you just want to like, hey, I saw this and I want to get it off my chest, because that's what happened to me. I saw something I couldn't explain, and I held on to it for years before I told anybody about it, because it did not fit into my worldview.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where I'm like, I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen because that was crazy.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot about it for a while. But as I think back on it, I'm like, I remember exactly where I was.
Yeah.
I could take you there today.
We should go.
I'd love to. But I mean,
when I'm up, if I ever go to Nebraska, I
can give you the coordinates. Dude.
I will go to the coordinates.
No joke. Yeah. I can give you the exact spot.
Imagine I go and get
you just get
abducted,
and I don't know what it was,
or just murdered. Who knows?
Who knows? But anyway, we want to hear from you. If you've ever seen something you can't explain, we're going to talk about some of the stuff.
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah, we're going to talk about famous stuff. We're going to talk about personal stuff. We want to hear from you. And if you're not comfortable putting it out there, but you still kind of want to get it out there, anonymous submissions are welcome. Just say, I want this to remain anonymous.
And it's completely anonymous.
We'll be cool.
Even if there's parts of the story, if we need to tweak it or any sort of things, if you feel like you want to talk about what you want to talk about, you just lay it out there. And if we have to tweak it to remove anything or make it condense it, however, we will. It's 100% anonymous because we want people to feel comfortable telling the stories, because we're going to tell our stories, and I know a couple of personal friends that want to share their stories. Like, we're going to get into one.
Yeah, we have a SpeakPipe from one of your buddies today.
We have a SpeakPipe that he's going to, and he's got, I mean,
is it a doozy?
This poor guy.
Is it a doozy?
He's got, well, I just mean this is one of many.
Oh, no.
And I was like, you know, sometimes it leads into another conversation where it's like, maybe we need to talk about, like, the soul and, like, get into some more serious conversations.
It's like, maybe you need Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, we want to hear from you. We don't want anybody to be uncomfortable about it. Like me, like I held on to mine for a while because I just wasn't comfortable sharing it. And then one day I felt comfortable sharing it because I'm like, okay, you know, somebody else had a similar experience, so let me share mine. And that's kind of how a lot of this started. So if you want to be anonymous but still want to share your story because it's on theme, then please do. If you want to put it out there and you don't care if your name's attached to it or your voice, do it on SpeakPipes so you can tell it yourself, and then you don't have to write out a long email or anything like that.
That's true. If you're worried about I didn't think about this. If you're worried about your voice or anything like that, just clarify it in the SpeakPipe and we'll transcribe it. We won't play it.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, just say, I want this to be anonymous, but here's my story, and we will not play that one on the show.
We'll transcribe it.
We'll just write it down and talk about it. So,
do we get anything from the mailbag?
Not right now because
it just came out.
The episode's been out for like
3 hours. Yeah.
But so I did see Skip commented we want Skip, so he's getting on board with that.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So there's your mailbag.
Yeah.
But no, I think I saw the SpeakPipe, so I guess you must have told your friend we're going to talk about some spooky stuff, and he was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
I asked him. I was like, will you please? And he said, "I'll do." So it's a two-parter. There's two because he couldn't get it. He couldn't get it all in.
Oh yeah, because it's like
seconds.
It's like a 60 or 90 second.
I'm just gonna play both of them back to back. We won't comment on it. We'll just let it play.
Okay.
And then once it's done, we'll converse on it and give our thoughts.
Okay. You pull that up.
Yeah.
For those interested, I'm sipping on a Liquid Death Psycho Cider. Today's episode brought to you by, just kidding, but we'd love to have a sponsor. No, this is a limited edition. I thought it was relevant to the season and to the topic today. It's a sparkling water, so don't get any ideas, you know. But it tastes just like apple cider if apple cider was cold. So I can't recommend Liquid Death enough. I've really fallen in love the last few weeks just with all sorts of their products. But anyway.
Hey guys, it's James. First time talker, long time listener. And I hear that y'all are looking for some spooky stories, and I have a couple, but I'm just going to share y'all the one that I can kind of speak to the most. So this story is about me, and this is about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and actually Patrick is involved in this one. I started having weird reoccurring dreams, essentially, every night, and I was pretty restless. And then I would start hearing things around the house, and I lived with my mother at the time, and she would hear things as well. So she was hearing things, I was hearing things. We would notice, like, hey, did you move this thing? And it was like, no. So Pat sent us a camera, sees like a security camera. He sees like things moving in my room, mostly me, like my blankets were moving in ways that they shouldn't move for like a human being, essentially. Like they were raising up like 5 feet in the air while I'm laying down and all that kind of thing. And essentially we ended up doing a seance on the house, and it never happened again, right? Like we did incense, not a seance. We did incense throughout the house and then never had the same dream again. But the only thing that I can really speak to is that, and I'll send one more message to kind of highlight a specific event that was like the spookiest.
Oh, come on.
So one event that did happen with this is I had gotten up in the middle of the night after having one of these dreams, and I can hear someone in the kitchen. Now, like I said, I live with my mother, so I'm like, that's my mom in the kitchen. So I get up, and I'm walking down the hallway towards the kitchen, and I can see her turn into the kitchen at the other end of the hallway. So I'm like, okay, I was right. It is her. I walk into the kitchen, the lights are off, and no one's there. So I'm like, okay, she went out the back door. She didn't, because we have one of those like arm brace things that goes over the door handle, so like people can't kick in the door. that's still there. So she can't be outside. And I'm like, what happened? And as soon as I'm realizing what happened, like, I hear a noise behind me. I turn around, and then my mom is behind me at that point. Like, she had walked out of a different room to come in there. And I'm like, what? You were just in the kitchen. And she's like, I just had a bad dream, and I had to get up. I was not in the kitchen until just now. And I was like, oh, interesting. That's cool, I guess. I'm going to go back to sleep now. Ha ha.
That is terrifying.
He's hilarious. So I'll explain. He didn't explain. I'll explain how I got involved in this situation.
I love that you were like ghost investigator, Patrick. You're like, I'll send you the equipment.
I've known him for, at this point, it's like 14 years.
Yeah.
So, and again, this happened years ago. But, well, before I get into my involvement, let me tell you the funniest part of this was something really scary happened. Like, something moved, and he was like, I'm going to try to record it. And I have this video on I'll show you it later. He's walking around the ghost in like a hilarious like Jersey accent, just being like, this house is haunted and I'm gonna find it. And it's just, he's got all the lights off and he's just wandering around yelling at his house. It's hilarious. But here's how I got involved.
Was he being funny or was he seriously
He was being funny.
Okay.
Because he's all about the bit. Like, he's fully, like, he could see a ghostly apparition and like look it in the face, and his brain would go, he would say something goofy, like he would go zoinks, like that's how he would react. And
that's funny.
So here's my involvement. So we're talking about this stuff similar to how you and I have had these conversations, and he just keeps telling me about these bad dreams and these things that happen, and I'm kind of like, that's spooky. And finally it's getting to the point where it's like this spurt that he's talking about was the spurt of like a couple months where it just kept happening. It was very frequent. And I said, dude, if it's happening to you anyways, we might as well try to like get captured something. And so I say, hey, let's buy these cheap security cameras, put them wherever you think you'll see anything, and we'll just see what happens. So he sets up the cameras, and he gives me access to them. So he's like, hey, that way, if you see the screenshots, if you check in, if something alerts you, you can look at it. And I'm like, well, I have a job in life too, but
you're like, I'm kind of doing other stuff.
I'll just track your house 20%. But so one night, the night he's referring to is one night I go to sleep at around a normal time. He goes to sleep around a normal time. I wake up in the morning, and when I open my phone, the phone has like 47 notifications throughout the night. I was like, what? And most of the screenshots I'm looking through are nothing. Like little something just tweaked and it went off or something. So I was like, okay. The ones that I didn't alarm me at first was ones where it looked like he put one in his bedroom, and it looked like he was rustling throughout the night in bed, because I was looking at the timestamps and they were like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 7 a.m. And I don't think anything of it. I go, oh, okay, he's just tossing and turning, like whatever. So he messaged me and says, hey, did you get anything last night? And I said, the only things were these screenshots. And he sees those and he freaks out.
Really?
He's like, that is horrifying. And I'm like, you're just tossing and turning. And he's like, no, look at the screenshots. And I'm like, yeah, they look kind of high. And then as I was looking at them, I noticed they weren't blurred, so it wasn't like a movement that was caught. It was like literally, I was like, oh, okay, that is weird. I'm like, how is how is the blanket, the mound of blankets? It looked as if somebody was sitting under the blankets.
Like sitting up in bed?
Sitting up in bed underneath the blankets, but not moving. Because you could see in the screenshots, they were high enough resolution that you could see the folds of the blanket, so it wasn't moving. And so I went, okay, that's weird. And he was like, no, you don't understand. Like, that has to be me sitting straight up in bed with the blankets over my head, not moving. And I went, well, if that's the case, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So the next night we get on and like we're on Discord and we're gaming and stuff. And he goes, I'm going to recreate the photo.
Yeah.
And he sits exactly where he would have been laying. and he didn't put the blanket over his head, and he said, and we took pictures and compared them, and it was exactly like he rose up like a vampire
with his head under the blanket.
With his head under the blanket and just sat there.
That's creepy.
Yeah. It was super scary.
Yeah.
So once he described that, I was like, oh, that's super messed up. And then finally, like with his, I'm not going to say the dreams and all the other stuff.
Right, sure.
But finally it got to the point where they were just really freaked out, and they like, I think they had mentioned something about like praying about it, but they did all the things you would hear about where they like, I don't know if he actually called a priest. I think he called a church and was like, hey, and they were like, you should just pray about it. And but they did the whole, like, they burned incense in the house and all this sort of stuff, and since then they said they haven't had any.
They still live in the same house?
Still live in the same house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's spooky.
Freaky stuff.
I can't imagine. Because, like, you know, I'm sure we've all experienced, like, you hear something go bump in the night.
Spooky stuff.
And you're like, that was freaky. And then, like, you can't really, like, figure out what made that noise. Or it's like, hey, it's an old house and it creaks a little bit. Or it's a new house and it's settling. Like, but stuff like that, it's like, how do you even, like, why does that happen? Yeah.
And it's different when it's a one-off thing versus a things keep happening and you know something's off.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, because at some point, and I'm switching back to, like, real life, like, you know when something is off.
Yeah.
If it's whether somebody's following you or somebody's giving you bad vibes or whatever. Like, it's
like
difference between you're like, man.
The hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
Yeah, like, you know when something's off.
Yeah.
Now, I say that as a kid, I thought everything was off. Because my only, I don't have like a ghost haunting. Like, I've never been to a haunted place, and I've never like been around haunted stuff that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
The spookiest thing where I was 100% convinced that my house was haunted, there were two things when I was a kid, which we debunked both of them, was we lived in a 2-story house, and the wood, when the seasons would change, the wood would creak and it would sound like footsteps.
Oh.
But the weirdest thing, and I didn't know this because my parents knew this. They were like, these houses, that's just what happens when you walk on them. You know, everybody sleeps upstairs, so you're walking it all the time. But there would be nights where we would be in the living room and you would hear it, and you would just hear doom, 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 and it would, you could track it. You could track it. You could go, okay, that's master bedroom, hallway, office. Like, you could track them, but it only ever happened when the weather was changing.
Right. Okay.
And so they with the boards and stuff.
Yeah.
The scarier one to me as a kid was one night out of the blue, I laid my head down on my pillow like this, and it sounded like screaming, like I could hear screaming in the distance. But then as I was sitting, so I freak out, and I was like, "What was that?" And I'm looking around, and I'm like running, I'm checking the house, like everything like that. And I go back to bed, and I hear it again. And it happens for like a few days at a time. Like, I just freak out. Like, I'm hearing every time I'm trying to go to bed, I hear screaming. Then finally I realize, I'm like, okay, I'm hearing it at the same times. It's always when I go to bed, and it's never loud. It's always really distant. And then I realized, I was like, I started experimenting. So I would lay my head on the pillow, and then I would slowly pick my head up, and as I slowly picked my head up, the screaming would get quieter, because I never heard it when I shot up. It was only when I was laying down.
Yeah.
And then as I would lay my head down, it would get louder and louder and louder, and I was like, what is it happening?
Like, the screaming's inside
the screaming's
my head.
In the pillow. And I found out that I had, like, there's like an issue. Well, one, if your one ear's covered, your other ear's more sensitive. So I could have been hearing static. I could have been hearing whatever.
Right.
But I found out that I had, like, there was something in my ear, like a buildup of wax, something that was partially blocking my ear. Yes,
there were spirits in your
They
ear.
were whispering sweet. Well, it wasn't sweet.
Trying to escape torment.
But it was like, because I always had noise going on in the room anyways. Like, I had noise fans and all this sort of stuff anyway. So it was like those combinations of factors. It was like, well, yeah, you're hearing static and wind that sounds like screaming because of all this stuff. And I don't remember. I think eventually I just stopped having ambient noise in my room, and then that fixed it. And then when I cleaned my ears, that really fixed it.
You're like, oh, wow. There's like a whole world out here I can hear.
I can hear more, but I hear less. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no. If my house was haunted, you just ditch the house. I mean, you just leave.
Yeah, what else do you do?
Yeah, you leave.
There's a. It depends on. So, and I don't really know what to make of ghosts. I think people are seeing something.
Yeah.
I think people are experiencing something. I don't know what it is, but there's a great story of the current University of Connecticut football coach.
Yeah.
He lives in a haunted house in Connecticut, and he didn't know it at the time, when he bought it. But they did a story on it on ESPN like a year or two ago, and they were kind of interviewing him about it, and he was basically like, yeah, it's haunted, but they're cool, they're
chill,
they're friendly, basically.
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, I mean, a door slams every now and then, but I'm like, dude, how are you being so casual about this?
Bro.
And he said he'll have players over to the house, and other coaches over to the house, and he's like, they only come once. Yeah.
So that happens frequently enough that visitors would come and be like, nah,
I'm not into this.
I'm not into it.
Yeah. So he basically was like, nobody wants to come over to my house. And it's a good, I don't know.
You keep talking. I'm going to get my outline.
Yeah. There's an 8-minute clip out there of Jim Mora just casually talking about his haunted house. But I think that would be the litmus test for me is if my house was haunted and I was convinced that's what was happening. If they were cool, I'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, this is weird, but I feel like it's something I could get used to and kind of live with. But if it was I heard a story of a guy, where was this? There was basically, I forget where. I've been doing a lot of research getting ready for spooky season so I can contribute to these conversations. But there was a story I read or watched a video about it, this guy who basically was this old farmer, and he died on his property, and they say that his ghost haunts the property.
Yeah.
And so basically, apparently he's a really spiteful ghost, so it's he wants to preserve his property as he knew it.
Yeah.
And so whenever the new owners change anything with the house, I guess he starts really causing havoc in the house.
That's crazy.
And so there will just be dishes falling off the counter and doors slamming and stuff happening. And the owners basically said that they basically just have to talk to him and tell them that what they're not hurting the house, they're helping the house, they're trying to make sure the house lasts a long time, and they're doing what they can to preserve the house. And then he's cool for a while until they change something else. They'll tear out the wallpaper to put up paint, and then he'll start freaking out again. So it's stuff like that. I'm I don't think I could live with that, assuming all that's true. But it would have to be a pretty cool ghost.
Listen.
You go.
There's no such thing as free lunch.
Okay.
All right. If you're gonna hang out in my house and not pay the mortgage,
yeah,
you gotta do something.
Yeah.
I mean, rake the yard.
Take the trash out.
Take the trash out. Do something.
You're watching the game and a trash bag just floats by.
I'm just saying, dude. No, dude. I'm crusading. I'm putting on the armor, and I'm like Supernatural, the TV show. I'm going out there, and we're dealing with it. I'm not sticking around.
How many times? So let's say you have.
I thought you were about to ask me how many ghosts I could take.
Yeah. How many ghosts do you think you could take in a fight? 1 gorilla versus 100 ghosts. Who do you think wins?
I think the gorilla wins.
How many times do you think you have to cleanse your house and it doesn't work before you just move?
The first time.
Really?
Yeah.
So you call a priest out there and you're like, hey, you're the ghost expert, do your thing, and then he does his holy water or sage or whatever they do. Yeah. And then that night the priest leaves and he's like, you're safe now, my son. And the priest leaves.
Wrong.
And then all your doors in your house slam at one time.
Yeah.
And just start opening and closing.
Yeah, no. I don't
you
know.
Just ticked off the wasp,
Yeah, I don't know what the spiritual implications are of all this stuff. But I'm like, if I'd probably just pray about it. I'd be like, either whatever's happened, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to just leave?
Yeah.
Because if that's what I need to do, it's one and done. Either the ghost goes or whatever goes, or I go.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
Knock down 1 coffee mug if you want me to leave. Slam the door if I can stay.
Yeah. Slam the door on your way out, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie though. I don't know what's going on with all this, but I'm also not messing with it.
No, I agree.
I'm not one, like, if I walk into your house and you're like, hey, we're having game night.
Yeah.
And I walk in and it's like Halloween and you're
and
like,
the board's floating.
I thought it'd be fun if we did a Ouija board. I'd be like, no, I'm going home. I'm
not
doing this. I'm not doing this. They're like, come on, it's not real. I'm like, I'm not waiting around to find out if it's real.
And it's funny because people who toe the line,
yeah.
even if you're interested to the point where you're like, oh, it's interesting to talk about, you still don't push the envelope.
No.
Because there's a part of us that knows. I've had this conversation with my sister 100 times. She thinks that Ouija boards and all that stuff is all super cool and fun to talk about, but she's never touched one.
I wouldn't.
We've had this exact conversation 100 times. Wouldn't it be so crazy if we laid down and like touched a Ouija board and like somebody spoke to us, and they'd be like, okay, cool. You want to go get one? Absolutely not.
Yeah, no. No.
So, like, we know. It's the same thing with us. Like, if somebody was like, hey, do you want to go sit in this haunted cemetery all night? Like, let's go camp out at this cemetery where they say they see ghosts all the time. No.
No, thanks.
No. I'll drive by and look at it, and you can tell me the history of it.
Yeah.
Like, some of these places we got on the list, I'm not going to any of these places.
Yeah, we can do a guided ghost tour at 12 noon, but other than that,
yeah, in broad daylight.
Yeah, other than that, you're not going to catch me messing with any of that because, like I said, I don't know what's what, but I'm not waiting around to find out.
Now, some of these you may be familiar with.
Yeah, you said you were researching some like famous.
Well, I've got some spooky places here.
Hauntings. Okay, go for it.
And then we've got some games.
Okay.
Obviously, the word Salem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one of the craziest things.
Yeah.
In history.
Salem witch trials.
All the witch trials and all that stuff. And while I was looking at some of these places, I was looking like with Salem. I was like, people what do people who live in Salem talk about it? And they're like, spooky stuff happens everywhere. It's just the town. And people are like, Salem's great. Like, people who live there are like, I love Salem. But yeah, all that spooky stuff, it's spooky.
Yeah, no thanks.
Like, there's a house. They call it the Witch House, and it's the only remaining building that allegedly has direct ties to the witch trials.
Really?
Like a building that is still standing.
Like
from 1692.
That's crazy.
Like they preserved it.
So was it like a famous witch's house or something?
It was the home of one of the judges, Jonathan Corwin. Visitors and staff have reported seeing his shadowy figure. Don't know how it's him, if it's shadowy.
He might have been a shadowy
standing
guy.
In the windows or corners of the house. There's also the Burying Point Cemetery, one of the oldest burial grounds. Unsurprisingly, a hotbed of paranormal reports. A lot of stories about ghosts, seeing ghosts, like apparition kind of things. Mm-hmm. But there's, it's the stuff you read depends on kind of like what happened there. Like Gettysburg is a good example where I hear so many stories about a lot of those pivotal Civil War battles that were just brutal. Because all those battles war is brutal no matter when. But back then, when you're talking about people were rushing lines with bayonets and you essentially just devolved to medieval warfare. Like, I know a person personally who went to Gettysburg, and they said, like, or maybe it's not Gettysburg. It was one of the big ones where they said you walk out of the tree line, and they're like, your whole body tenses up and you become overwhelmed because you feel like you're in a group of people. Like they say, he said, as soon as I walked to the edge of the tree line, I immediately felt like there were hundreds of people to my left and my right.
That's crazy. That sounds like Gettysburg. I've heard similar things from people who have been there. They're just like, it's hard to explain. Like
some of these I've never heard of.
Okay.
Myrtles Plantation in Louisiana.
Okay.
Apparently a lot of reported apparitions, unexplained sounds. The craziest part about this one is that they say that the spirits like to mess with technology. And they take pictures, extra pictures. So sometimes you'll be walking around taking pictures of the building, and you'll have extra ones you don't remember taking. And it's not that necessarily things will be... Some people say that there's paranormal-looking things, like the photos are different, but some people just say, yeah, I remember going and I tried to take one picture of these certain things, but I ended up having a few extra. And I was like, that's hilarious. That's a funny ghost who's like...
clack, clack, clack. That's funny.
Savannah, Georgia is considered the most haunted city in the U.S., which makes sense. Also, all of the Civil War stuff that happened there, it was a very pivotal area during that time.
I would have guessed like New Orleans or something.
New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah, or
that
Salem,
gets more into the witch. Yeah,
Boston.
I tried to stay away from the witchcrafty.
The real stuff.
Yeah, where people actually go out there. And then the last one I have written down is the Queen Mary, which is a ship that's turned into a hotel, so you can actually go stay at this place.
Where's it docked at?
I don't know. I didn't write that down.
That's okay. Go on.
At least 49 deaths occurred on the ship during its service, some of which were believed to have resulted in lingering spirits. Guests and staff have reported seeing shadowy figures, hearing knocking, experienced unexplained events like faucets turning on by themselves. Specific locations on the boat, particularly notorious, is including the first-class swimming pool, which is hilarious. The rich ghost.
Yeah.
Said, "You're not going to catch me in those plebeian lower quarters. I'm hanging out in the first-class swimming pool," where apparitions are said to appear. Also hilarious. Swimming ghosts. Rich ghosts.
Looking for their monocle.
Who's like, ooh. And then stateroom B340, which is often called the most haunted room. What are the connection to all of these places?
Ghosts.
Well,
I don't know.
Horrible things happen there.
Oh, okay.
See, this is my theory with haunting stuff, because
Okay.
I don't necessarily believe that it is the soul of a departed person that is haunting something.
Like in a like a controlled way.
If you murdered me in this office, I don't think I would haunt this office. Now, my theory is, putting on the tinfoil hat.
Okay.
I think that when big events happen, it's almost like it's an energy thing.
Okay.
Like a remnant of a horrible, and it's normally only when super bad things happen. There's probably maybe there's cases of where something really great happened and good things happen there. I don't know. But all these things, it's like when you read about haunted places, it was like you never read of a haunted place where it was like, yeah, somebody lived till they were 97 and they peacefully died in their sleep and they haunt the house to this day. You don't read those.
Right.
It's always, hey, here's this horrible thing that happened and now it's haunted. So,
right.
You know.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, there's this farmer and his crops dried up and he hanged himself and
Exactly.
He's still here. So it, like, yeah, something horrible happens and that tends to be, and I guess my thought was always like, that's just the stories to make them more spooky.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this horrible
or
thing
to try
happened
to explain
right.
what's going on.
Yeah. But then you have like, yeah, I guess you don't really hear a lot of stories about like what you said, like, so yeah, they lived a pretty normal life and died a normal death and they're still here.
And they like wreaking havoc in their house.
Yeah, and
you
they're
don't really hear that.
We don't know why they're mad,
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
or we could go the Rick and Bubba route. Shout out Rick and Bubba.
Demons.
Demons.
Yeah. Honestly, I probably subscribe to that in some ways.
Some of that might be.
Yeah, because I'm like,
it very well could be.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know about, and I'm not, I promise I'm not trying to speak out of two sides of my mouth, but I'm like, in the one sense, I don't know how to think about ghosts, but in the other sense,
Well, I know how to think about demons.
Yeah, I'm like, I am 100% convinced that we live in a spiritual reality.
Yeah.
So it's like, there are unseen things happening all the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, some of the bad stuff,
those are the scariest stories to me as I grow old, because I used to read stories as a kid and everything spooks you. But like the stories I get afraid of now are stories similar to like my friend's story. But I've read stories online in prepping for this where people were like, it really freaked me out, and I prayed in Jesus' name that whatever it is, if it's not God, it needs to leave, and I never had any more problems.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
Like, yeah. Yeah, it's like there's some evidence for it.
Zoinks.
I saw, there was one, my algorithm's giving me stuff like this now, so it's
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, but I saw one where there was a kid, and this was picked up on a home security camera, like in a living room. And there was this kid, and he was crying, and his mom walks out, and she's like, why'd you get out of bed? And he was like he said something about, like, I didn't like the scary man or something like that, which a kid says that, and I'm like, all right, that sent chills down my spine. And then the mom was like, is the scary man here? And he points to the other side of the room, and you can see on the camera, like, there's nothing there, but the kid's saying he's right there, and she's like, is he still there? Like, he's right there, and the kid's like, yeah. And then she says, something, leave our house and leave us alone. and basically depart far away and never come back. And then the kid is like kind of still upset, but she's like, okay, it's gonna be okay, can we go back to bed? And he was like, yeah. And she's like, is he still there? And he says, no, he left. And I'm like, okay, is that just a kid kind of playing along, like had a bad dream? I don't think so. Or is that like legit, like, dude, that stuff is spooky.
Yeah, the kids start talking, that's when you just you ditch the conversation.
Yeah. And dude, we had something happen in the house last week where, like I said, I was kind of getting ready for this, Spooktober. And
my bad, dog.
I was watching a video. Yeah. I'm downstairs in the kitchen. Everybody's gone to bed. I'm doing dishes, kind of getting everything done for the night, making the coffee for the morning, all that stuff. And I've got a video playing about the Moreno Valley poltergeist.
Yeah.
And are you familiar with that one?
Yeah.
So look it up if you're not, but or don't, because I'm about to tell you what happened to me. But I watched the Moreno Valley poltergeist, and then there was one that like played automatically about the Bell Witch haunting in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And so I was watching the one about the Bell Witch haunting, and it was this like small farming community. They built their own house on this land, and they kind of pioneered the land. So it's like no one's ever lived here before. We're gonna live here, and they built the house. They lived there for a while, and it's the Bell family, and all of a sudden they start hearing stuff, like there's like knocking on the side of the house, and they go out and inspect it and they don't see anything. And then the kids are laying in their bed and it sounds like there's rats gnawing on their bed front, like their bedposts, and they look down and there's nothing there. And anyway, so the man in the family kind of starts to go crazy, and everybody in the community kind of rallies around him. They're trying to like help him out, and similar to the Connecticut head coach, some men from the community volunteered to come stay at the house with them to kind of witness to it.
Yeah.
And be like,
oh, it's legit.
Yeah, what's going on? Like, are you going crazy, or is something really happening? And they ended up leaving in the middle of the night because they were so freaked out about the things they heard. And this is all back in like 1700s, 1800s. Like, anyway, so this whole story goes off about like, and it's a YouTube video, so I got a earplug in, and then my phone is playing the YouTube video, and I finished the YouTube video, and then I'm like getting ready for bed or whatever, and then I grabbed my phone, and my wife had texted me like 45 minutes ago, and she was like, "Can you please come get your phone off of your bedside table? It's vibrating like crazy." Or your watch, like either your phone or your watch is obviously plugged in on the bedside table. I'm trying to go to sleep. It's vibrating a lot. You got like a group text going off. Like, what's happening here? And then I texted her back, and I'm like, my watch is on my wrist and my phone's down here with me. Sorry, I didn't see your text. I had a video playing and I just didn't see it come in. And it kind of freaked me out because I was like, I literally was just watching this video about people hearing stuff in their house.
Right.
While my wife is texting me about hearing something vibrating on my bedside table constantly. I go upstairs and I get in bed. The only thing on my bedside table is a cup that was like half full of water. So I don't know. We haven't really talked about it since then. I don't know what she was hearing, but I told her, I'm like, I had my watch and my phone with me. And she was like, well, something was vibrating. Like, did you have your phone? I'm like, I was downstairs. Like, I don't know what was happening, but it wasn't that. And we kind of just, moved on. Yeah. But, like, what else do you do?
Yeah.
But, and then I told her, I was like, I was watching this video about the Bell Witch haunting, and she was like, well, don't do that in the house.
Well, listen, I'm going to be honest. This particular topic is kind of, it's an interesting topic. But it's my least favorite of the topics to come.
What, ghosts?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm way more into the other stuff we're going to get into.
Oh, sure. It's all fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had a fun little segment for us, couple segments.
Okay.
This is affectionately titled Spooky or Dookey.
Okay.
And it's where we came up with some ideas of read spooky facts, and you have to guess if it's real or not. So, did you have any that you wanted to start with, or do you want me to just go?
You go ahead.
Okay. When selling your house, you must disclose whether or not your house is haunted.
I'm going to say you do not have to disclose.
It's real.
Is it real?
It's real. In there, I believe it's 4 states. You have to disclose. There's a lot of legal jargon, which would be. I'm going to send it to you so you can show it to Courtney because I'm sure she would find it hilarious.
Okay.
There is a plethora of legal knowledge as to what it contains. Like basically, essentially, what it boils down to is it's like a haunting is like a stigmatized, like damage to the house. And so some states require you to have to, like, if you think it's haunted, you have to say it's haunted. And one of the big cases was Stambovsky versus Ackley in New York. A New York appeals court ruled that the seller who actively created and publicized a house's reputation as haunted was obligated to disclose this non-physical defect to the buyer, allowing the buyer to rescind the contract despite the traditional caveat rule. The court found that the seller's prior promotional efforts created a legally binding reputational defect, or as a this was a quote from the hearing, as a matter of law, the house is haunted.
Wow.
They said that.
So the house is legally haunted.
Legally haunted, justifying an equitable exception to the rule that buyers are not responsible, or that buyers are responsible as inspection of property.
What do you do to prove that, though?
So legally,
yeah, but do you have to call in like a
Ghostbusters?
Hunter?
That's
really?
what they said. They said They said jokingly. They said someone should call Ghostbusters.
So someone walks in with their little reader thing. I forget what those are called.
EMF devices.
Yeah. And they walk in, they're like,
it's haunted.
Yeah. Well, legally,
I'm gonna need $20K below asking for this.
Yeah, legally it's haunted.
But not only is what's hilarious, and Courtney may attest to this. If a house is legally haunted, then that means ghosts are legally real.
Makes sense to me.
Which is hilarious.
That is funny. It's like, hey,
you want me to just give you the rest of mine?
The foundation's cracked. The appliances don't work. It's haunted. It's in a good neighborhood. And they're like, wait, what was that? What was that? You said it. Yeah, I said it was in a good neighborhood. No, before that. Oh, the appliances. Yeah, I'll give you my appliance guide. No, after that. Oh, it's haunted. It's haunted. Like, imagine having that conversation.
Yeah, and the rules are different. Like, some of them are, like, you have to disclose if something happened in the house, which I think that makes more sense. Like, if somebody was murdered or whatever. But, like, in the case of, like, mysterious suicides or disappearances, some places are like, yeah, you got to disclose that, because if it's potentially haunted, then they need to know.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I lived in the house just turned 100 this year.
That's crazy.
I don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
But we lived in a 100-year-old house, and I went up in the attic one day to put like decorations and stuff up there, like for storage, and there was a rope hanging from the rafters, not a noose, a rope, and to what I can tell, it served no purpose, and I left it there. I'm like, I'm not touching that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna draw any conclusions about what that's there for. Like, it could very well just be like, hey, I needed a rope hanging there so I can pull myself up into the attic, but yeah, stuff like that, I'm like, that's spooky. Anyway, moving on. And yeah, I know we're getting short on time, so you can read the rest of yours, but
real or fake?
Okay, go ahead.
You're not allowed to die in the House of Parliament.
You're not allowed to die?
You're not allowed to die in the House of Parliament.
Spooky.
It is real.
It's real.
Under the Coroners Act of 1887, dying is illegal in the House of Parliament. Anyone whose body is lying within the limits of the Queen's palace or within the limits of any other house where Her Majesty is then residing, due to the fact that Parliament is classed as a royal palace, the convention arises that no parliamentarian dies until they are in the ambulance. So what's
the punishment?
Exactly. Yeah. So if dying is illegal, then what do they do to you?
Yeah, they're like, I swear, if you think you're gonna die,
it's like they'd be like, you have to haunt it.
Yeah.
Because that's your punishment, is you have to stay here and make laws for the rest of eternity.
Like until the 1,000 years of spiritual unrest.
1,000 years of making laws. And then the other one I have is the Safe Practices for Occult Operations and Keeping, a regulatory/certification program for practitioners who perform occult interventions, held by the U.S. government.
So it's like an organization?
It's like a certification program to deal with ghosts.
To deal with ghosts?
By the U.S. government, yeah.
Dookey.
It is Dookey.
Okay.
Because the acronym is SPOOK.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's funny.
So I have one more thing. I know we're running out of time, but I really want to get to this. I have a spooky video for you.
Okay.
And then I don't think we'll have time for the other bit.
That's okay.
Which is fine, but we'll play the spooky video. If I can find it.
Yeah, you pull that up. The occult thing reminded me there was a park not far from my house. Do you have it ready? Just let me know. I'm
working on it.
Yeah, just let me know. There was a park not far from my house in Nebraska, kind of in the hills, like a wooded, hilly area, and it was like notorious for occult, like practices and behavior, and you'd go up there sometimes, and there's like a standalone like covered patio thing up there, like a I don't remember what you call them, but just like a park area where that you can have like picnic tables under a covered area, and there was always like pentagrams and like weird, like not graffiti but like chalk, almost like just drawings on the walls, and the urban legend was that it was a group of like cultish albino people. And I don't know where that comes from.
That's horrible.
But I heard it from several people where they're like, "Oh yeah, the albinos live out there in the hills in that area, and they like occupy Hummel Park at night." And I'm like, all that stuff. I'm like, that's kind of like, that's fun, Like it's fun to think about.
Yeah, sure, it's fun.
It's fun to think about, but then it's like I'm not going there.
I'm not going ever again.
Yeah. So. You got it pulled up?
This is a long video, so I think I got to the part I'm going to credit it. This is from Exploring Abandoned Mines and Unusual Places.
Oh, gosh.
So this is kind of this guy's main shtick, but he was... this video is him reviewing a flashlight in this abandoned cave. And he proceeds to hear some gnarly stuff.
Really?
And then dips out.
I would
So I skipped to where I think is the point where he kind of hears the most of it.
Okay.
But if not, we'll scrub it.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
And then you can see how big these timbers are. That's about almost a foot in diameter, the big cross timbers. So they had to put big ones in here to hold up all of this rock. And you can see right here where some of these boards are bending. Do you hear that? Sounds like, what, is that wind? I don't know if you can hear that on the camera. Do you hear that? It stopped. Well, I don't know what that is. That doesn't sound like wind, but that's crazy. Don't know if that's a bird or I don't know what that is. It almost sounds like snakes, but
dude was scrambling.
He's
like, it's probably a wind or a bird.
Is such a good example of like your brain trying to rationalize something, because you hear that sound, whatever it is, it's like.
Probably just snakes.
Yeah.
Like, what sound does a snake make?
Yeah, because I didn't know snakes go, I'm going to kill you and eat you. Like,
it was kind of like, you hear a lot of
like
his...
whispering.
Well, that's what I was going to say, which made me think wind. But I'm like, he was in there for a while and didn't hear any of that. But, like, he was breathing pretty heavy, which I would be too, doing the same thing he was doing. But, like, even when he stopped and, like, held his breath for a second and it stopped, I was like, well, that's weird. Like, if it was wind, you'd think it would keep going. And then he's like, it's probably just birds or snakes or something.
Yeah, but you could tell easily, like, immediately he freaked out.
Yeah. Well, because, for most of that video, he's just like, oh, look at the structure of this cave.
And then he's like, ugh,
he's like,
I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, and then for him
immediately bailed.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not going that way.
Well, and for him to be like, that doesn't sound like wind to me.
As somebody who frequents caves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what wind sounds like.
Yeah.
See, that's where my thing is like,
yeah, dude.
It's so easy for someone like me who has never done this to be like, obviously this is what it is. But when you're hearing someone who's like, I do this every day and I promise you I've never heard that before. Like, I'm like, what do you make of that?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's spooky.
And I don't know if it's the same guy or a different guy, but there was another cave adventurer guy who was in this cave, and there were these huge, like, it was like an abandoned mine, and these huge tools, like there were like huge heavy chains or whatever.
I saw that one.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. This guy was in an abandoned mine shaft, and he wasn't very far in to the mine
shaft.
You
could see the sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's walking in. He like just got past like the do not enter signs and all that stuff because that's what these people do. And he's like, man, these barricades are annoying.
Man, there's so many signs.
I know. But anyway, he gets inside, and there's like chains hanging every like 10 feet, like heavy chains, like I probably couldn't carry them heavy chains.
Yeah.
So they're not just like getting blown around by the wind. But the freaky thing is even if it was wind, let's say you're looking down a narrow mine shaft and you see on the left-hand side there's like 12 chains hanging every 10 feet sequentially. And then all of a sudden, chains number 9 and 12 start swaying back and forth.
But not the other ones.
And none of the other ones are.
Yeah.
And as far as you can tell, nothing caused it. Like, that's spooky.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can't just chalk that up to wind because why are the other ones not moving?
Yeah.
Also, the chains are too heavy.
And also, wind wouldn't blow a chain like that.
Yeah. It's not like little dinky chains that would, yeah.
Well, hey,
Stuff like
as
that
we're wrapping up, I want you to know if I die and you think there might be a possibility that it's me haunting, I'll try to communicate, and I'll be like, blooming onion. That's how you can, if you're trying to get me out of that, if you're trying to get me out of here one day,
Yeah.
just be like, here's your blooming onion, leave.
Yeah, I'll put a blooming onion on the patio and then shut the door behind you.
leave one on my tombstone.
Dude, if I was a ghost, I would be like the dorkiest ghost because I'd be doing all like the boo, like that sort of stuff. Or I'd like go get one of your bed sheets and put it over me. I'd be a ghost wearing a bed sheet.
Oh gosh.
To like pretend to be a ghost. I sent you one of these videos this morning. I don't know if you had time to watch it.
I haven't.
But there's this guy on Instagram. I think the account is called We Made It Together.
Okay. And
he does like comedy bits about his house being haunted. And it's basically like when your house is haunted but the rent's cheap. And so he's just like living with this ghost. And anyway, it's funny. And like the one I sent you today was there was like an ill-willed ghost trying to get him to come outside.
Yeah. And
he's like I can't go outside because it'll like possess me, and but it's trying to get him to come outside, and he's doing the whole bit, and they must be like renovating their house or something.
Yeah.
Because it just cuts to him tearing his wall down to the studs, and he's just like ripping the wall down, and then his wife is like, "What are you doing?" And he snaps out of it, and he's like, "Well, I barricaded the door shut so that it must have thought that this was the next best way to get me to come outside." And
I was going to say, how funny. That's such a hilarious premise of like the ghost trying to get you to come outside instead of coming in the house. Like the ghost is like, "What up? I'm out here.
Yeah, come on.
Come out here and deal with it.
Yeah.
Be a man."
Oh, it's so funny. Look up that on Instagram. We Made It Together.
Yeah.
And it's like this guy with a beard and long hair and glasses, and it's pretty funny. And he's got this one bit about his trash can being like a skinwalker. And he walked outside one day and he saw he had 2 trash cans, and he's like, all right, I'm pretty sure one of my trash cans is a skinwalker because I only have 1 trash can.
Yeah.
And he's like, every now and then the garbage company will drop off a green one, but I definitely don't have 2 blue ones. And then he's like, I'm pretty sure one of my trash cans is a mimic. And he walks out and he goes to put the trash in. And I don't know how he did it because you can't see anything on the screen.
Yeah.
But he goes to put the trash in the trash can. He opens the lid, lifts like he's in a pretty vulnerable position, lifts the trash bag up to put it in, and then the trash can, like the lid was a mouth, it just goes and like comes at him. Man, it's funny. That guy's account's really funny. But anyway, we should probably stop.
Yeah. Well, that was episode 1 of Spooktober.
Yeah. First Annual Spooktober Spooktacular.
Setting the tone.
Yeah.
And I know they may not believe me when I say this. It only goes up from here.
Oh yeah.
Like this was the intro.
Yeah, we're just putting our foot in the door.
We're putting the foot in the door. I think next week we might be busting this door wide open.
Yeah. Well, we want to hear from you again. Hit us up on SpeakPipe, gooddumbfunshow@gmail.com, @gooddumbfun, DM us. if you do not have a personal story, but you just want to say, hey, here's what I think is happening.
Yeah.
Whether it be anything spooky, whether that be ghosts.
Comment on the stuff we talked about.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Just hit us up like you normally do. And we love you. We appreciate everybody that's been along the ride with us.
Dude, having a good time.
And we are having a good, dumb, fun time. And I've been Josh.
I've been Patrick.
Tell your good, dumb friends about us. And we have been
The Good, Dumb, Fun Show.
Something strange.